Patricia Felton. Bruce Cantor.
Yep.
Mike Green.
Here.
Charlotte Jones. Danielle Huey.
Huey.
Danielle Huey.
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 Yes.
Okay. Fred Prime.
Here.
Pam Schirmeyer.
Here.
Dan Sugg. Alex Green. We have quorum.
All right. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Support. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. Approval of the minutes. April 25th or April 25 minutes.
The longest minutes in our history, I believe. I've read them, and they seem in order. So, motion to approve.
Excellent.
Support.
All right. Made and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. Next, consent agenda. That covers the monthly financial reports and the monthly code enforcement report.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Support.
Motion to approve, support, no questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Oh. Hi, Alex.
Item 6, public comments.
Yeah.
Anybody for public comment? Hearing none, public comment is closed. Old business, the meeting time, board meeting time.
Yes, during last month's meeting, we discussed potential changing of the day or the time that we meet to allow for more attendance and consistent attendance. So I'm going to turn it over to Tom, who sent out a survey to everybody, and everyone did respond. Thank you very much for all getting back. And he's going to go over the results.
All right. I think mine might have just gotten in, Tom. So
It's okay.
we'll see what it is. Yeah.
If we had 7 results altogether, so
Okay.
I go back and I see that there's an 8th, then I'll just add it to the statistics.
Okay.
I will double up in a moment as to what our future plans are, but do want to apologize. It was going to be up on the screen. Obviously, that's not going to happen today. So instead, you're going to have them on handouts, all the information from the presentation, and all the data that was provided from the survey. So main overview I want to get with is that all the replies were anonymous. That was the only major issue. I did want to know who answered in what way, just so I would know people's preferences. If after we get into this discussion and you guys have, you want to let your preferences be known, that's your decision. But I'm not going to press for anything. There was an issue at the start of it. We did get, I think, Bruce, I think it was you that emailed us to let us know that our first iteration was not allowed to have more than one answer. My mistake. Obviously, Microsoft Forms doesn't like a Likert scale with more than one answer on it. So we went ahead, redid it, and that gives us the data that we have now. Because I love statistics and data so much, this was my undergrad, I might over-explain something. If I do, tell me to move on. Tell me Tom, I'm getting bored, and I will shut up and move on. So, quick refresher. The questions allow for multiple answers, and we want to ensure that all preferences were heard. Answers could be amended by board members when you learn your availability. An original version of the survey was conducted. I mentioned this just a moment ago. So the times that we're looking for 2-hour increments. Our options were earlier than 8 a.m., the morning hour 8 to 10, late morning 10 to 12, early afternoon 12 to 2, mid-afternoon 2 to 4, and then late afternoon 4 to 6, and finally later than 6 p.m. The first question that I want to cover, this was unanimous across the board, is the 3rd week of the month still good? Everyone said yes. No one had an issue with that, so cool, moving right along. Question 1, if you prefer Monday, what times do you prefer? Surprising absolutely nobody. No one wants to wake up earlier than 8 a.m. on Monday. Shocker, I know. But we did have one response say that they wanted the morning. We had one for late morning, one in the early afternoon, one in the mid-afternoon. 4 liked the late afternoon slot, 3 liked the later than 6 p.m. slot, and 2 did not prefer Monday at all. For Tuesday, pretty much the same thing. You had 1 for earlier than 8 a.m., 3 for the morning, 3 for late morning, 2 for early afternoon, 2 for mid-afternoon, 4 for late afternoon, 2 for later than 6 p.m., and 1 did not prefer Tuesday. Wednesday, much of the same, 1 for earlier than 8 a.m., 1 for the morning, or 2 for the morning, my apologies, 3 for late morning, 2 for late early afternoon, 2 for mid-afternoon, 3 for late, 2 for later than 6, and 2 did not prefer Wednesday. For Thursday, 1 for earlier than 8, 2 for the morning slot, 3 for the late morning, 2 for early afternoon, 2 for mid-afternoon, 4 for late afternoon, 2 for later than 6, and 1 did not prefer Thursday. You might be noticing a pattern with the late afternoon having anywhere from 3 to 4, and later than 6 having 2. That's the only level of consistency that we're going to have in this survey. Question 5, which, for Friday, what times do you prefer? 1, again, for earlier than 8, 2 for the morning, 2 for the late morning, 2 for early afternoon, 2 for mid-afternoon, 3 for late afternoon, 2 for later than 6, and 1 did not prefer Friday. So this gives us this breakdown. First, all preferences seem to be all over the place. There was no consensus, there was no unanimous agreement as to what day or time. Because there's no set day and no set time, we have to kind of look things in a different manner. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday seem to have the most open availability across the board. There seem to be a lot more responses favoring any specific hour. Late afternoons seem to be the most widely available across all the times. And without capturing respondent names, it's really hard to tell who wants what. And I'd honestly rather not focus on the individual there. I'm trying to get the collective kind of water temperature, as it were. It wasn't meant to be a secret ballot. I do apologize, but again, if you want your preferences to be known, by all means, share it with us. The board does not have to come to a consensus today. You do not have to make any consideration. You can talk about it. We can table it until June or July and come back to it whenever we're ready. But this is just for us to begin talking about it. And I am open to doing a second survey featuring the time blocks with the most responses. So the Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 4 o'clock, we can have those options if you guys want another survey to do. If not, we can just continue talking during meetings. So with that, that's the end of it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. So we discussed what are the best steps for moving forward, and we think actually putting a survey together that has actual meeting times, so say Monday at 4 p.m., Tuesday at 5 p.m., trying to look at what we have the most selected time-wise for those periods, because the only one that didn't receive a single vote was the 8 a.m. Monday morning. So we think just actually putting together, maybe 5 selections, 6 selections, and just let the board vote, and then we'll come back next month with results. But we are open to going at it in a different manner if anybody has a recommendation or concerns with that approach.
No? That sounds good.
I really don't have a dog in this hunt. I'm willing to work to meet anytime, but has anybody ever alternated meeting times?
I
I mean, if there's a block of people who just can't make it till late afternoon, but they really want to participate and they're available in the morning.
So my concern would be having inconsistency where the public wouldn't know when we were meeting. So if we had it like the second Friday of the month, and then we alternated doing it the third Friday of the month, or even another day of the week, it might be a little confusing. But I think having that consistent time would really help with transparency, and also let the public know when they can come and speak with us. And members of the public who aren't able to attend, they're always available to send me an email, and I would read it during public comment. So there's always that option as well. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that works.
that's what we'll do. Yep.
So with the meeting times, the Tuesday, you said you're gonna do Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, was it?
Well, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday were the most, had the most variation to them. It's not necessarily that I'm going to focus on any specific time in those days, but, you know, the ones that did get the most responses. So if you look on Wednesday, there were 3 answers for late morning and 3 answers for late afternoon. I would put that into the survey as an option. Do you like Wednesday at this time? Do you like Wednesday at this time? Do you like Thursday at the late
Okay.
afternoon slot? And it would just, you would select which time you prefer and all that. And I would present that again.
We could also do ranked choice voting, where everyone would get 3 selections. So you have your first choice, your second choice, and your third choice.
Yeah, I was about to ask if you can just have us rank them all.
I can do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Does late afternoon include 6 p.m. exactly? Why is it always later than 6 p.m.?
I did it in 2-hour increments, just,
Oh,
yeah, if we,
okay,
if,
okay.
if there's like a specific time that anyone wants, if it's
Okay.
after than 6 p.m. or if it's before that, like if you want me to do 5:35,
Well, no.
have that option. I know, but I'm just
Okay,
saying, if
right.
anyone has that option,
I
or
hear you.
they want that, I
Okay.
can do that.
And if there is a time where it's like you're absolutely not available at that time of the month consistently, please let us know, and it'll also keep it between us, so we can make sure that the times that are being proposed are the most, the ones that are most available for everybody. But we will get that together and present it next month to the board to vote.
I can have that made
Excellent.
up and disseminated on Monday too, so
Okay.
you all can get that.
All right. Thank you. Next item, new business, the music festival performance agreement.
Yes, so we did have a band lined up that unfortunately, due to our March meeting being canceled, it was on the agenda to approve their contract and their deposit. But between then and our April meeting, they were offered another gig at that time. And obviously, if somebody's offering you an opportunity and willing to give you the money up front, yeah, you should select it. So we will hopefully have that artist back next year because they're fantastic. But we have another fantastic local band. They're called the Boddum Line Band. They are from Southfield. So we are asking for approval of the performance agreement, which is $1,000, and then the deposit of $500, which would provide promptly so that we can secure the date for their performance. Just so you're all aware of where we're at right now on sponsorship, we have, not including the DDA, we have $12,545, and including the DDA's portion, we've got $22,545. So we are getting close to our goal that we've set for, I think we have a goal of 28,000. So we're getting closer to that goal, and later I'm going to provide an update on the planning of the music festival and go over some exciting news we had this week. And this will be the final act for our lineup, and that means that we will be at a cost of $9,050 for the artist, which is $2,500 under budget from last year's, where we had our lineup cost set at. So if anyone has any questions, we're here to answer them. So it'd be approving the $1,000 contract and then the $500 deposit that would be provided promptly.
Any questions, discussion?
So say I'll move to
Support?
approve the expenditure of $1,000, including a $500 deposit for the Bottom Line performance at the Lathrup Village Music Festival.
All right.
Support.
Made, support, any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, no opposed, motion carries. Next item is walk the DDA event.
Yes, so we've had some exciting conversations internally and with Mayor Garrett about opportunities to engage the public through physical activity. Kelly, would you mind providing just a brief overview of the Move with the Mayor promotion and also the backstory of how it came to be?
Sure, from what I can remember. It is a nationwide initiative about doing something in your community as the mayor. And that is, you know, to do some exercises outside or just anything to make the community move. And so I thought it would be a good idea to do it here, but just for walking. You know, let Thomas and Austin know that we already have, well, there's two parts of it. We already have the 5K route already mapped out. We did that maybe 9 years ago. So we can do the 5K, we can do just walking around like on a Saturday or something with me. But I like their idea better, which is to walk the DDA. And that is basically the DDA, you walk
Yeah.
completely. And then put stakes out so everyone will know exactly how far they walked, you know, a certain amount of steps or, can't say.
I think
miles,
that'd be
but-
a great idea, because you'd have it marked throughout the circuit, so people would know exactly how far they've actually walked, and then they could break it up into segments, so maybe this Saturday they walk from here to 12 Mile, and then they walk back, and then the next Saturday or the next month, they would walk from here to Lincoln.
Right.
We also had discussions of potentially doing a wiffle ball game, which is kind of similar to pickleball, where anybody of any age could play it. And that was also discussed about actually having a day where we would go over to Golden Gate and put up a small little wiffle ball field. Tom came up with that idea, and I think it's a fun, exciting idea. So we kind of have either some 3 events that we could discuss. One would be the 5K, which our biggest concerns were actually traffic control. So that would be kind of a heavier lift. And we talked about potentially having Tour de Trois, which does a lot of organizations of 5Ks around the city, see if they would want to be involved with it. But then we had the idea of keeping it a little more simple, where on a monthly basis, we would have the walk through the DDA, and Kelly would lead it or be there for a segment of it. And then we would stake the DDA to show how far you actually walk the circuit.
Well, the 5K is, we did 2 of them, I have to look it up, but it
Mhm.
was one that came across Southfield, and then there was one that only stayed on that side. But it went into Southfield, which I don't think is a big deal.
Okay. Is there one that you prefer, Kelly, that we could move forward with, or
The walk, the DDA.
walk the DDA?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
The 5K is, I think that, like we talked about before, I think that that's something for maybe next year.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Yeah.
the idea of the wiffle ball coming out in the back, which you can probably talk more to that if
I
it was.
mean, if you guys want me to, I can.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, probably a little background about what they've been doing in Brighton. It's very exciting.
So there's this group in Brighton. I started watching them during the pandemic. One of those, you know, pandemic pages that everyone got. They've been on YouTube for the better part of the last 10, maybe 15 years, and they're called Major League Wiffle Ball. Entirely based in Brighton. They've actually been there for so long that the city of Brighton has carved out a section of a public park, and they play officially in this section. They're a multinational organization now. They've been around the country for their own World Series. In 2024, they concluded their World Series at AT&T Stadium in Dallas. So they are growing exponentially, and they are relatively popular. Wiffle ball, as you know, it's just baseball, but with less steps. You can play it with about 3 people instead of a full team of 9. And the intention was we would get the entirety of either our boards, so all of our boards would get together and play against each other, or we would get city council involved. If we couldn't get all the boards involved, we'd get city council involved, have all of our city councilmen draft a team, and then they would face each other for nothing more than bragging rights, and maybe I make a trophy. We'll see about that. But that's all we're going for is bragging rights and fun. We'd pick a day in late July, early August. We'll carve out a part of Golden Gate Park. We'll get food trucks, we'll get families out, and we'll just have a blast. So the group in Brighton kind of inspired this out of me, and it wouldn't be that much to get everything going. Getting the equipment's actually relatively cheap, but you know, if anyone has any suggestions or anything to add to it, I thought that this would be fun for the city to do. And then if it got rave reviews from the community, if you know people enjoyed it, we might be able to make a rec league out of it because of how small the teams are. You don't really need to get that much involved.
And the field is smaller than a regular baseball
Yeah.
field. So when I said that it's kind of like pickleball, you don't have to do a lot of moving. So it's something that everybody can participate in. And I really like the idea of having the city council be team captains and pick, and they can either be just the manager of the team or be a player manager. But also, I want to stake out the DDA and have that circuit also. So it'd be both events.
So is,
Well, if anybody's, they're gonna draft Mike, because Mike's got the background in baseball.
so this is just for city boards to play each other?
It
or
would
is this a
it would
public-
start as that,
Yeah.
and if there's interest from the community, if we get, you know, depending on how people like how the event goes,
Yeah.
we would expand it to do more.
Okay. I mean, this strikes me as a Parks and Rec venture more than a DDA venture, but,
It started as,
know,
I
but
mean, it
if you're
started as
not-
like a kind of an accessory to the Walk the DDA. And yeah, it could, you know, be a Parks and Rec thing, and it probably will end up being that. But if we can at least get the ball
Initiate it.
rolling on it, and if it starts with us, then they can take it and run with it.
Or even how they have the food truck Fridays.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
You could incorporate it with that, because that would
That's a
help
good idea.
the DDA
Mhm.
with the
That's a
food
great
trucks.
idea.
So that'd be cool.
yeah.
That's
I-
actually a pretty cool idea. the whole
And then we have the fencing for the music festival, which is required to go around the bar area. So we could just use that as the outfield. So it really wouldn't cost that much to get this
Come
off
on,
the ground.
summertime.
And my brother's a former employee of 97.1, so he and I would be offering commentary. And I promise I'm not going to talk any amount of crap that I can't, even though if you guys strike out, I'm never letting you live it down.
That's a
But-
good idea.
I really like Kelly's idea as well of marking the DDA, and I think we can do it at a relatively low cost this year. And if we show proof of concept, I think there's some grants we could go after to actually have permanent markings that would bring people out and also start feeling more comfortable walking through our downtown district. It is not the most walker-friendly and walkable, but we are working really hard to get the Hawk signals up and running, which 2 of them would be up and running by the end of the year. And then we're also still working with the Road Commission of Oakland County about getting the speed limit turned down a little bit and then having a median. So I think if we could get people just coming out to walk and then being able to count how far they walk, they'll become more comfortable, and it just will become something that they do on a regular basis. And they can pop in and out of shops and really attract people to our DDA.
When you say working with Oakland County for the median and so forth, you're talking about the raise grant, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's-
So we will find a way to get it staked at a low cost so we can start the event, and then we were shooting for either end of July, August, was it for the
I was
football game?
thinking, yeah, probably. I was originally thinking 4th of July, but let's be honest, people aren't going to be in time for that. So about end of July, early August, I would say.
Southfield Road is pretty hot around that time of year.
We'd be at Golden Gate though for the wiffle ball game. So we probably, I would say, later in June for Walk the EDA.
Yeah.
Start that early enough in the day before like, we get into the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
And then we'll figure out how we're gonna pick team captains and get that rolling, because I think there's a lot of fun that we can have with it.
For sure.
And then Kelly was talking about if we could get this going, maybe we can start competing against other teams, or
Oh,
cities.
wow.
Yeah, really get bragging rights going.
Absolutely.
I like that. Good, thank you. Yeah. All right. Then the next item, the director's report.
Thank you very much. So we have some upcoming Tri-City Business Partnership trainings coming on. That is the partnership we have with Southfield and Oak Park to get the most we can out of the resources we receive from Main Street Oakland County when it comes to training opportunities. The goal is to open them up to the business communities of each city. So instead of competing for different events, we're welcoming all the business community to come together and get to know each other. So we did just recently have a succession planning training that was here held in the community room. So the goal was to help businesses set up ways that they can have their businesses lined up, so if something were to happen, if the owner were to retire, or if something were to happen, unfortunately, they're passing abruptly, there would be a plan in place so the employees could still have a secure job, and also figuring a way to pass businesses along that would help retain those businesses, jobs for those employees. It was very interesting. We had Donna Wallace, who is here in our DDA, she's a financial advisor. She spoke first about the personal side of succession planning for businesses, business owners and entrepreneurs. And then we had a really respected, reputable financial firm called Horizon Advisors come in and talk with the attendees about how to get their plans in place so that they can keep the businesses going if something were to unfortunately happen to their health, or how they were going to plan to sell the business or pass it along when the time comes for their retirement. It was very interesting. We got a lot out of it, and their Horizon Advisor is going to be a partner that we're probably going to have back for different events, and we already thought about maybe having them attend next year's State of the City address because the information was just so valuable. It was very, very interesting. And we have some upcoming events. We have a business resource training that's going to be hosted by Oak Park on May 28th. More information is to come. The morning business mixer hosted by Southfield will be in July. A date still being selected. We have the Lathrup Village Music Festival coming up on September 13th out here in Municipal Park. And then last year I attended this one and it was fantastic. It's called Resources to Boost Holiday Sales. And it's in September, so it helps businesses get prepared for the holiday season. And last year it was held in Oak Park, and they're going to host it again. But we also have a training coming up with Oakland Thrive, which is here in attendance, regarding helping businesses learn how to set up a podcast. Would you want, Jonathan or Tracy, would you mind speaking a little bit about that three-day training? It's very interesting because it's going to be over 3 weeks. 3 Wednesdays in a row, and I'll let Tracy take over.
Afternoon, everyone. I'm Tracy Williams. I'm with Oakland Thrive. I cover the area of Southfield, Lathrup Village, Beverly Hills, Bingham Farms, and Franklin. And what we do is we work with small businesses and provide support. One of the things that we do is we provide educational support programming and educational workshops for small businesses. And so what we have coming up in June, the first 3 Tuesdays, June 3rd, 10th, and 17th, it will be downstairs in the community room from 11 until 1 p.m. And it is Robin Kinney of Kinney Media. She is a local Lathrup Village resident also. And she will be providing instruction on, okay, you have the idea, here's where we start, and by the end of this 3-part series, they will have a finished product. This is just one of the products and marketing workshops that we'll be having, not only here, but in collaboration with the City of Southfield. We want our businesses to be able to promote themselves, market themselves, and have healthy, thriving businesses for the local economy. So thank you.
And I think this is a great idea because so many young people, they communicate and gather information in a different way, and podcast is one of those that is used. So helping those who have either wanted to start a podcast or had never even thought about it, kind of come in right from the ground floor, and at the end of those 3 weeks have a podcast ready to rock and roll, I think is amazing. And we thank Oakland Thrive so much, and they've been such a great resource and partner with us here in the DDA. And last night we attended the first meeting of the Lathrup Village Chamber of Commerce, which was fantastic. I was so happy to see that Patricia Felton and Charlotte Jones were there. Daniel Huey's one of the officers. And it's an organization that Oakland Thrive and the DDA can work with because there is no one-stop shop for all business resources to help them. So the three of us can work together and help the businesses when it comes to understanding what is offered through the DDA, what is offered through Oakland Thrive, and what the chamber can provide to an ultra-local manner that is being proposed. And those leading it have some very interesting and fascinating goals for the business community, which I think are great. And I was able to meet, Tom and I went yesterday and we met some great business owners here in the DDA, and they want to create some social events where the entrepreneurs are coming together on a monthly basis to get to know each other. And also, there's been many studies that have shown those who are on multiple boards in a region, it allows for more development and more thriving for the local economy, because that overlap really helps connect people when there's an issue and they don't know who to go to. They can go to one of their fellow board members and go, okay, this is what I need, and they can get help in that manner. Instead of being stuck in a silo, it really will open up ways that all of us can work together. And the ultimate goal is to help our business community. And I think we're on a good track here, and I'm excited. Back to our DDA update. We had a planning commission approved a site plan for 27700 Southfield Road. That is right next door. It's our historic former high school. It is being, it's got site plan approval to be adaptive reuse for the central core that was built in the 1920s. It is beautiful in there. There's even a Puebik fireplace that was plastered over, and Puebik reached out to the property owner and asked, if you do rehabilitate the building, can we come in and preserve it and bring it back to its original state? And that is part of the project, but the center part is gonna be open to the public, is gonna preserve the original basketball court, which has these beautiful colonial windows that are 2 stories high. And it'll be a multi-use space that can be adapted for pickleball, for banquets, for meeting space. There are gonna be other rooms that are open to be rented out by members of the public. There's going to be a gym there that is available for the residents, but also for open to members of the community to get a membership to. And then Bamboo co-working space, which has spaces in Detroit and Ferndale and other areas around the city, have already worked with the business owner, the property owner, to create a co-working space right there in the historic high school. And then there'll be 2 wings added on, which will bring 128 housing units to the DDA. So currently there are no housing in the DDA, and this will be the first that will bring residents right into the DDA. Infrastructure improvements, we have the installation of 2 hawk signals that have begun. Hawk signal, again, is high intensity activated crosswalk beacon, and they are currently in the final stages of getting connected with DTE to have power supply to them. So they should be on and live sometime before the end of the summer. And then next year, there'll be another hawk signal installed south of 696. And this goes back to our goal of getting people to come out and walk the DDA, because we're trying to make it more walkable and more friendly to people to come in, so they can go around and pop in and out of shops and enjoy themselves and not be intimidated by Southfield Road. We also have repaving of alleyways. This has been a multi-year project, and we are currently, the 3 alleyways that are being done this year have, there was some landscaping that had to be done so they could get access to the asphalt that is already there, and they've ground off the top of some of the areas, but they're getting close to getting those moved along. And our goal is not to get too ahead of ourselves, but is to maybe if we can get FY25 done, and there's enough time at the end of the year to get FY26 also completed, which would be fantastic. Our finance team has asked me to come to you guys, and this will just be a very kind of informal vote, but I want the agreement of the board that to help them streamline their processes for reporting. They would like to, instead of having 2 separate flag star accounts, one for the DDA, one for the city, would be to bring the funds together into a high yield account for both. It would still allow for, the funds would be separate, and it would still allow for the same reporting to be done. So the reports we pull for the DDA accounts would still remain the same. It's kind of more of it in the background. And again, it's a more high interest yield account, so we might be able to get a little bit more interest from those. But I would like the approval of the board, at least understanding that this is how the finance team believes that it would be most advantageous for our accounting processes.
So the funds would be intermixed, but the reporting would be separate.
Yeah, so the way the sweep accounts work, it's naturally, we all know if you have more money in an interest account, you're gonna get more money back. That's the entire purpose of the sweep account. But your reporting stays the same with journal entries and everything like that. So when you run the report, you know how much money belongs to the DDA, the water, or the general fund. So it doesn't change anything on that respect. It just allows the city and the entities to receive more interest due to more money being in there.
So they're in the same account. Well, no, they're, there's two account, they're in one fund, but they're two accounts, so we each have a,
So
so the money,
yeah.
is the money commingled or
Yeah,
no?
that's what I was wondering.
As before we would do this, everything was completely separate. So
Yes.
all DDA money was in just a standard DDA account, and then the city money was somewhere else. The finance department would like to essentially mix those into a sweep account, just so we can generate more interest as well as more money together. But the reporting and everything will stay the exact same. So we, out of that big pot, you know exactly how much belongs to the DDA and how much belongs to the other funds.
And then we have our own reporting on BSNA with the general ledger, where each line item approved by the city council and by the DDA board for each line item would remain in place, and we'd be able to still use that same reporting process to go and see, you know, for this GL number for, let's say, streetscaping for chance, we would know exactly how much money is in there based off of using that reporting process.
Yeah, combined funds, separate ledgers.
Yeah.
What about login and access? Would the same people have login and access if that were the case?
There's only 3 of us that have it right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, from the auditing standpoint, that doesn't change, and
Okay.
that's not an issue.
And from the DDA, our, I don't know, our operating documents allows for that? Allows for the commingling of funds?
Yeah, I haven't seen a reason
Yeah,
why
no,
not.
Yeah, there's nothing that I've found that would restrict us from doing this.
Okay.
In talking with Michelle Townsend, our finance director, she saw no cons to it and saw that we could potentially get more interest received back in this high interest account, and that there was more upside than downside.
So the auditor, is that external or internal?
Auditors are external.
Okay.
Yeah. So every single year, the city gets audited, and the DDA account is a sub part of that audit.
So as long as nobody has any concerns, we'll proceed with the merging of the accounts, and then we'll also keep providing the reports as we do on a monthly basis.
And I guess to his point, in terms of the folks that have access, I know it's the 3 of you guys, but what is the process? Do we have a separate process for the DDA or access to that? I mean, to our account? Because now it's, you know, if somebody at the city or some other account, you know, they have their process to have access, and then, you know, potentially, you know, they have access to all the funds.
Both DDA and city funds are managed by the same team.
Same people.
Okay.
Yeah, so they've been doing this already. It would just be that merging of the accounts, but as they go through and make payments on a monthly basis and review the account statuses and balances, that would all remain the same.
Yeah.
So-
At the end of the day, account access won't change. For example, if we log in, out of the 3 of us that have access to the bank accounts, if we log in Flagstar right now, it pretty much says city fund DDA. And it's just like you log in your normal bank account. If you have multiple funds under one person's name,
Yep.
you just click whatever one you want to access and look at the reports.
I see.
This would essentially just combine those two, but like the general reports you get in your packets right now that show everything, that would say the exact same.
So what type of income would that bring as far as the interest? Have you guys kind of calculated how much that would make us?
Not yet. The biggest thing, it's completely dependent on interest rates, but Michelle on the back end, we do have a very general formula based on the amounts, the base amounts that we put in between water, sewer, city, and DDA. And then when we get those interest payments quarterly, that's when we divvy them up between the funds based off that little formula.
So it's strictly just to get a higher rate to make
Yeah.
more money?
Yeah,
Yep.
I see. So the more funds,
That's a lot
essentially,
of
you're saying the more funds you have in that one account, you know, they have certain minimums, account minimums, you
Yep.
have, you know, X amount, you know, you can get, you know, this much more spread over whatever,
Yeah.
you know, okay.
I understand the premise of it, but I have separate, even in my businesses, for the services and then for the products, they're two separate businesses. So
Okay.
I don't commingle
Mhm.
just for tax reasons, but I understand why you're doing it, but it just kind of
Yeah,
seems
from
weird to
from
me.
our outside auditors' perspectives, they don't have issues with sweep accounts because of the way we do our reporting with our general ledger and everything. So this, if anything, is just more of a back end process.
Got it, okay.
And I'll keep you all updated as we proceed with this new process.
Speak about?
Got it.
We also had some fun last week with the Shave-a-thon, which was the Shave the Intern campaign, which Tom, as you can see, he still got a beard and mustache, but up top he's got a little less.
So no one donated the million?
No, we didn't get it.
No.
But we did raise over $1,500 so far, which is fantastic. And St. Baldrick's is a wonderful organization that helps provide funding for the research of treatment for childhood cancer. So the account link is still available. People can still make donations. So we're gonna keep that available, and then I think we'll probably put another post up to remind people about it. And then on Monday during city council, Tom will make a little statement, and then also we'll promote the link again so that we can provide this great organization with as much funds as possible to help fight childhood cancer. And Donna Wallace was the winner. She was
Yeah,
the highest
Don
donor.
Wallace donated the most and earned the right to shave me, and she had a blast with it.
Yeah.
Huge shout out to Valerie Bryant of
Mhm.
Always Hair For You. She was our overseeing cosmetologist, making sure that my ears didn't go along with my and honestly, it was such a good event, and we had such a blast with
Yeah.
it that I think we're gonna try and do it again next year.
Absolutely.
And we already have plans for doing more with it, so we're gonna try to expand it.
And also shout out to Papa's Pizza for donating lunch.
Yes.
So really thank you for
Happy
them. And Valerie Bryant also held an event where she gave out 300 wigs for Mother's Day for women who are currently going through chemotherapy. So fantastic organization, Always Hair For You. So up on 11 Mile, wonderful, wonderful people. We also had an Arbor Day event. Our tree committee put it together to educate the community members on the benefits of a healthy tree canopy. And we also planted a new oak in Municipal Park. So I saw it out there and it's budding. And also the trees that we planted last year seem to be taking. So it's really exciting to see that. And we also have, the tree committee received a $4,000 grant from the DT Foundation, which was matched by Parks and Rec. So the weekend of June 7th and 8th, is it? Yes. We're gonna be installing 50 trees throughout the city. So we need volunteers. So if anybody's free that weekend, please come on out. We are gonna be putting trees in front of homes in the right-of-way and also throughout city parks. So it's gonna be a fun day. We're gonna also barbecue, probably be 2 days. So if one day you have a little bit of time, please come on and help us out. Because we got quite a few trees to plant, but I'm feeling good that we're gonna get them all put in time. We had a great week when it comes to fundraising for the music festival. We received I want to thank Bruce Cantor for pointing out a great grant opportunity that Lauren Barris ran with, and her and I went out to the Finance Committee meeting of the Board of Commissioners in Pontiac on Wednesday. It was a great day. There's also a lot of very exciting things going on in Pontiac, which is great to see. But we received a $5,000 grant, which will then go to the Board of Commissioners full board meeting. It'll be on the consent agenda, and they'll approve it officially next Thursday. So we got $5,000 from the county, which they provided $10,000 last year, which was great. So for them to provide additional funding this year, we can't thank them enough. So to Oakland County, thank you so much. And then Michigan First donated $1,500. So another great partner of ours who's been there for all three of the events that we've held so far. And so we are currently for the self-funded festival at $22,545. So we're really getting close to our goal of $28,000. And we feel confident that we will get there. And we have some updates regarding the music festival. Big B Coffee is going to have a booth at the event, our very own, down at 11 Mile, just south of 11 Mile on Southfield. And they're also going to donate Big B Coffee so we can make a coffee tailored cocktail. So our great team at the bar is figuring out what to make. Maybe it'll be a martini, a coffee martini, or something else.
I think my life just got more complicated.
Also, Rita's Ice will return. They're going to be there with us. Papa's Pizza is going to be back this year. So we are really starting to get the DDA businesses involved. And also, they've been great sponsors. I mean, people donating, a little value, but it adds up so quickly. And for them to be involved, and we still want businesses to provide products or services they provide, because we'll have a DDA booth. So we would love to have some products we can raffle off to attendees and then also promote those businesses. And I'm going to be working the DDA booth with Tom, so we are going to be promoting these businesses. So please spread the word and let any business know if they'd like to be involved and provide a gift certificate or something that they provide product-wise to be there on the table. We will have it there to showcase all of the wonderful businesses we have. Today we locked up all of our bands. They are all under contract, and we will get the final deposit to Bottom Line Band. And we also are in the process of getting quotes to secure the stage and sound. So that is underway. We are also, now that all the contracts are signed, we're going to start working on promotional videos. So we'd like to have 2 of the bands do 30-second videos that we can put up on social media to spread the word, and then also 2 of the sponsors to do videos with them. So we're just starting that process, and we're going to meet next Wednesday with Jim and his team about how we would proceed in that.
Did you put that in the contract for the band?
No, but we have received their verbal agreement, but that is a really good idea to have it next year for the contract.
Contract for what? I couldn't hear you, Danielle.
So when you work with influencers, if you have them do any type of content, you should put it in the contract.
Got it. Okay. Just couldn't hear you.
Yeah, and ask them to promote it on their socials in the contract as well. Because if they don't feel like they're obligated to, they won't do it.
And we have verbal agreements with 2 of the bands who are on board and really excited. And one of them is a brother-sister duo, which is from right here in Lathrup Village, and we're so excited to have them. So I think we're going to have some fun with the videos and really get the word out. And that's a great point, which we will try to get in. We'll make sure next year in those contracts that that's included for all social media. And then we also received a $3,000 check from John Roberts and the Community Congregation Church, which is greatly appreciated. And we have also reached out to larger firms like auto dealerships, some law firms about being the main presenter for the music festival itself. The logo is completed. We've got the graphics for social media finalized, and you can actually see downstairs there's a banner that shows the different sponsors on there. So we're starting to get the word out on that. We also have a vendor submission form online on the DDA website. There is a form that anyone who would like to have a table, because last year we had them in an area where we didn't think they got enough foot traffic. So this year we're going to devote the area where they were at to the family zone, and then we're going to move the vendors throughout. So when people are walking the bar, they got to walk by a vendor. When they're walking the food trucks, they got to walk by a vendor. And when they're coming in and out of the site, they're going to have to walk by a vendor. So we make sure they get more foot traffic and more attention this year. Also, Parks and Rec is in the process of planning the family area. So They have gotten quotes for both a bounce house and an obstacle course. There's this blow-up obstacle course that kids love. So it's, you get strapped into a harness and two people compete to run, but you're on a slingshot. So that will be fun. We have face painter planned and then also a balloon artist. So that new segment of the festival's coming together, and we're really excited to have that. And then the stage package. We're getting all of that put together, and hopefully in the next month or two, we'll come to you to approve the contract for the stage and sound. So that's all I got this month, and I'm really excited with what's going on and the direction we're moving in. And always, I have an open door policy, so please, if anyone would like to have a conversation or talk about anything, please don't hesitate and give me a call or just pop in. I'm here from 8 to 4:30 every day, so please don't hesitate in coming on by.
You got a busy month. Jesus.
Yeah, quite a bit of progress. Yeah, thank you. Any questions or? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Fred.
All right. Motion to adjourn? Anyone want to address anything else before we close out?
I would like to say one more thing.
Yes.
All of you, last month, we approved, or 2 months ago, we approved new soil and flowers for all the flower pots surrounding City Hall. Tom and I moved 1,600 pounds of dirt from Home Depot to City Hall last week, and Pam was gracious enough to swap out all of that soil. I don't know how you did it so quickly, but we have new soil.
9.5 hours.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely, thank you.
I get myself into these things. But yes, the pots are ready to go, and the flowers should be starting to arrive next week. And we'll have most of them in hand by the end of next week. So.
And we're coordinating with our Department of Public Services to get the hanging flower pots that should be arriving anytime to have them dispersed up and down the Southfield corridor. In the village center, they'll be on every light post, but then going outwards, we're gonna do a zigzag like we did last year, but in reverse. So all the businesses that didn't have a flower pot and a hanging flower pot in front of their business last year will have one this year.
And the watering for that, I know we had talked some about that last year, where some folks volunteered for certain pots. Is that still set up
So
the
Paradise
same way?
Gardens is responsible for all the watering.
Okay, so
of
they're
flower
actually, we
pots.
actually have the, okay,
Yeah, it's part of their contract water.
okay, all right, good.
And I'm really excited with the vendor we selected this year. He's really well known, and he specializes in municipal flower pots. So I think they're gonna come out very beautiful.
All right.
Specialty
Anyone else? All right,
Move to adjourn?
all right, so moved. Thank you.